Hi everybody, this is a red, blue, and white Brilliant Restoration deck that uses our powerful white sorcery to return all artifact and enchantment cards from our graveyard to the battlefield. Now, we can get a little added bonus with this card if we use new card Encroaching Mycosynth. This turns all non-land permanents we control into artifacts, even when they are in the graveyard and, other places that don't happen to be on the battlefield. So what this effectively does is turns all of our stuff into things that can be reanimated with Brilliant Restoration in one fell swoop. So of course, if we're going to play a style of deck like this, it has to have some enablers that let us dump things into the graveyard or act as early nice sources of card draw. So we've got Spirited Companion, Faithful Mending to do some draw and discard, along with Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which is great in styles of deck like this. Other early game things, we've got a couple of Reckoner Bankbusters, great for card draw. We can bring it back later, and it's a nice way to surprise, put some pressure on some Planeswalkers if we can crew it up. Little borrowed time to catch anything that we can't deal with. One Urza Lord Protector, because it's super fun to at least have one of these in there to threaten your opponent with, especially because we're playing with one copy of the Mightstone and Weakstone as well. So there's always the outside case of turning Urza himself into an artifact and then reanimating everybody, including the Mightstone and Weakstone, all at once. We've got 2 copies of the Wandering Emperor for that nice exile removal effect, and we can turn her into an artifact as well and bring her back later on. We're running a few copies of Depopulate just to control the board, since we don't have a whole lot of spot removal in here as well. Of course, 4 copies of the Encroaching Mycosynth to go with 4 copies of Brilliant Restoration, kind of the main combo of the deck. And then some other fun things to bring back. We've got Portal to Phyrexia, make our opponent sacrifice, and then start reanimating whatever we want. 1 copy of the Eternal Wanderer, kind of a built-in board wipe there, and some nice creature token creation abilities. And of course, 1 copy of Teferi Temporal Pilgrim. We can draw some cards, make some extra tokens, and have another way to threaten to finish off a game. So one thing you might notice that took me a couple of games to notice is that Encroaching Mycosynth, it does turn our stuff into artifacts, but Brilliant Restoration, it hits artifacts and enchantments. And so take a look at the makeup of the deck here. We've got a lot of artifacts and enchantments. So really the only thing that this deck hits with Encroaching Mycosynth is the Wandering Emperor, Teferi, and the Eternal Wanderer to go along with Urza Lord Protector. And so really there's not a whole lot of extra stuff we're going to be getting back with Encroaching Mycosynth, but still it somehow worked out. It was still somehow pretty fun despite only applying to 4 or 5 cards in the deck. So I'm sure these numbers can be tweaked a little bit, but this was kind of a nice experiment to try, and it was pretty enjoyable. So let's get over and see a few games with this deck over on the Ranked Standard ladder. I'll be with you for some commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, well, we've got the Encroaching Mycosynth. It's as good a start as any as we try to look for this Brilliant Restoration here. Knew I had to try out this kind of combo-looking deck when I saw it, but let's see how we can do here. Spirited Companion from us. That'll draw us a card. We get Sundown Pass. We'll see if our opponent's doing mono red or just what's going on over there. If we don't draw anything, we can look to Faithful Mending on our turn. They're going to strangle the companion. That is downright mean. Let's get a land going here. Got some nice Faithful Mending to get our life points back up, if this is some sort of burn deck. All right, Monastery Swiftspear. There is sort of a spell slingery version of mono red. What is this? Furious Bellow. So this might be closer to that. They might play the Electrostatic Infantry as well. Okay, Swiftspear hits us for 5. Seems like a good time to Faithful Mending to me. Discard 2 cards. Let's get rid of 1 Encroaching Mycosynth and a Spara's Headquarters. Let's see. Yeah, let's get this garden down. We can go ahead and borrowed time on the Swiftspear. I'd rather save the Depopulate if they try to put a couple of things down at once. A little better in that scenario, and we know they're not getting rid of this enchantment anytime soon anyway. Reckless Stormseeker. Give yourself haste. Yes, coming across for 3, so we drop to 14. All right, Encroaching Mycosynth. all of our stuff is also artifacts now. All of our permanents, that is. Non-land permanents. Cemetery Gatekeeper, so that will... that will pluck something out of our graveyard, and there's a Swift Spear. Alright. Well, we're going to take a chunk of damage, but this Depopulate will be really nice in this spot here if we want to use it. Let's get our wastes down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. If we depopulate, we'll have enough left to Spirited Companion. And we lose that Mycosynth, which is fine. Doesn't get any better in multiples. So now just trying to find the final combo piece here. We're 1 mana away from Brilliant Restoration. Opponent Thrills of Possibility into a Swift Spear. I think we're just going to block this. No sense in spending unnecessary life. We get Urza Lord Protector. Let's take a look with Faithful Mending first before we decide to play anything out of our hand. Alright, well, let's pitch the other Mending, because that's got flashback anyway. And probably this land. That way we can take another roll at it with Fable, maybe. What does he do? Reduces stuff? No. We don't even have the Mightstone, right? So, yeah, Fable. Ooh, I like how it has the blue artifact text now on the little card type line. Just inserts that in there so you don't forget about it. Good quality of life there, Wizards. Opponent with a Monastery Swift Spear, they strangle our creature. Thrill of Possibility will get that up to a 3/4, and got 1 card left in hand as they take us to 7. There it is. So we just need an untapped land here. Let's say goodbye to Urza. Okay, we gotta wait. Let's depopulate. Rather do that than this Faithful Mending. For the most part, their creatures are slow. Okay, so they're going to be Kumano Faces Kakazan. That'll take us to 6. No creature left in that hand, so it's got to be some kind of creature-enhancing spell. Maybe it's another Thrill. But our land untaps. Let's see what we got. Urza and our dog. It's not great, but we're going to... Oh, 2 dogs. Not the most back-breaking board I've ever seen, but we pick up a couple of cards here. Get old Urza back. Games have been won with less than a active flipped Fable and a couple of Spirited Companions. Alright, Swift Spear gets a counter, but they're not coming in. And we draw a 3rd copy of the Encroaching Mycosynth. So let's copy a doggo, get a free draw going. Another Restoration. So Faithful Mending. Alright, let's pitch land and Mending again. Oh, Mycosynth. Yeah, we don't need another one of those. Future Mendings can help us hopefully cycle through the top of our deck and dump some other stuff into that graveyard. Alright. Kumano's going to flip over. It is red monks everywhere. Opponent going to play that last card. It's a Lightning Strike. We will drop to 5. You going to get in here? No. Well, then let's definitely Faithful Mending. Get some of that life back. Let's see. Discard a dog and a Faithful Mending. And Teferi should help us out. Creating some tokens for the win here. Yeah, let's get Teferi going. And I think we'll just create a token. We've got some nice Faithful Mending here to pump up that token as soon as we can. And we might as well get a free draw off the dog. So we pick up a reduced cost Fable thanks to Urza. Yep, let's pass it on over there. We've got 3 mana left, so we can either draw with this Headquarters or fire off a Mending. And we've got a backup Brilliant Restoration here, so I think we're okay. Alright, let's Faithful Mending. Draw 2, discard 2. Start moving this along. Teferi Spirit will grow, as will the man himself. happen again on our draw steps. We got a nice 6/6 going here. Oh, and that's got vigilance too. Very nice. Let's get in. The bigger that token gets, the harder it is going to be for them to remove. No combat tricks, no burn. Let's get another draw off the dog. Second restoration. We've still got all our stuff on board, though, so let's just make another token and really press that advantage with Teferi here. I feel like we've kind of stonewalled our opponent with all these minor creatures and these big tokens. Reckless Stormseeker, sure. It's night, so it's got a bigger bonus that it's going to hand out. Get a little trample to go with the usual. Opponent just passing. Well, let's definitely draw. We've got 2 tokens on board now. Pitch a couple of these. Well, no, the lands help us draw, so let's get rid of another restoration. Our spirits tick up. Let's cycle this away. Get some more activations. We pick up another Fable. Spirits go nuts, and it's a little too much. Good game. All right, y'all. Back for another one. We've got Wandering Emperor and Bankbuster. A couple of tri-lands. Should be okay. Should be okay. Very interesting that this deck has so many Encroaching Mycosynths devoted to basically making our what looks to be 4 to 5 planeswalkers into artifacts so that we can keep bringing them back with Brilliant Restoration. It somehow works. The more I stare at it, the less it seems to make sense, but it's working. Let's get our Reckoner Bankbuster going. We've got a Denic Pious Apprentice across from us. This looks to be a blue and white soldiers deck. Timely Reinforcements creates a couple of soldiers for them. I think we've got the time to get this tri-land down and draw with Bankbuster. We pick up a Faithful Mending to go with our Mightstone and Weakstone. And we may be ending with a Depopulate after this turn. Yep, our opponent gets the Soldier Lord down, takes us to 11. So I think this is a good spot for a board wipe. Let's go Deserted Beach into Depopulate. We're still on 2 lands, so not having to worry about that Soldier Lord's ability for a little while is going to be nice. They follow up with the 3/2 flyer. Just a tap land from us. We can afford to wait around. Maybe Wandering Emperor this. Another copy of Denic shows up. Alright, they attack with Harbin, so let's use the Wandering Emperor on that. We're going to exile it. Gain a little bit of that life back. We pick up another land. Let's get down to headquarters and use the Mightstone. Get rid of this Denic outer removal, and I'd like to build the Wanderer back up a little bit. Let's see, we've got that 2 mana. Let's play another Bankbuster here. Skystrike Officer from the opponent. Okay, so we've got just this Faithful Mending and a Mycosynth. Let's mend, see what we find. Of course it's more lands. We'll pitch 2 of those. Follow up with an Encroaching Mycosynth. Get a land down. Hold on. Yep, we'll just plus the old Wanderer. That way it will survive an attack from the officer. Since it's got flying, it's going to go right over any samurai we create anyway. Oh, Mirel, or Myrel, whichever one you are. So that means we can't play stuff during our opponent's turn, and they're going to get free soldiers whenever that card attacks. This deck has handed me the lands, but that means good things for Faithful Mending. Let's discard, well, the land and the Mycosynth. We only need 1 of these. And that land we can pitch to this Fable or just cycle away. Let's put a counter on our Shaman friend.
Remember your training.
Sort of slow roll that we can now crew a Bankbuster. Oh, no, they might have just touched it, and I think they realized that too. Let's see. Let's draw with one of these. Okay, there's a restoration. How can we surreptitiously look at our own graveyard? Sometimes got to wonder with this deck. It's like, do they suspect what's coming? Mycosynth isn't really used for much else, so they probably got to know something's up. All right, Sky Strike. Coming at the Wanderer. The rest are going to go at my face. 7 creature tokens. Takes us to 13.
I'm never done for good.
All right, let's do some discard to draw here. What's holding priority over there? All right, discard Mountain and Raffine's Tower. Beautiful. We get a Depopulate and a land. All right, well, we don't have the mana to do 2 things, but let's definitely clear this board before we depart this realm. All right, Sky Strike Officer is going to help draw them some cards as all these soldiers get ready to leave the battlefield. Opponent sitting comfortably at 25. Looks like they're going to end up with about 6 cards in hand and a few flashbackable things in the graveyard. Let's use our spare mana to draw with Bankbuster. Finally get some spot removal with this Borrowed Time. And now that we've got a pilot, let's crew up the second one. Start working on this life total. Game's got to end sometime, right? Opponent with land number 5. We're going to go Siege Veteran into Guardian of New Benalia. Counter goes on the Guardian. And our Fable will flip over. Kudos to our opponent for being on top of that Guardian trigger. All right, what do we got down here? Wanderer and another Lattice, or Encroaching Mycosynth. Mycosynth Lattice is a whole other thing we don't need to get into. All right. Reckoner Bankbuster. Let's draw and see what else we can get. Okay, Spirited Companion. If nothing else, good for chump blocks. This Borrowed Time is going to be great for taking care of the Guardian. Only gets indestructible, not hexproof. We'll follow that up with a Fable and a Doggo. Like, if we can get this stuff out on board, even if the opponent can deal with it, we can just bring it all back. So, like, the more stuff I think we have exposed is going to be the best line for us. Let's get in with this Bankbuster. No blocks, taking the opponent to 17 with just a Siege Veteran left on the board. All right, so hopefully now it's our turn to go wide. Survivor of Corliss comes down. Okay. And then the Ghost of Dennick's Past will come back. Siege Veteran looking to put a counter on something. Goes on the Survivor, not the Flyer. All right. Oh, we pick up the Eternal Wanderer. Haven't had much chance to play with this card exclusively yet, but I'm going to pitch it for now. Try to get some more stuff in the graveyard for this brilliant restoration. Let's see. We could just throw everything at the opponent. We can Faithful Mending and try to toss some more stuff down in the graveyard. Choices. All right, what should we do? Let's see. We can use the Fable to copy the Companion. We can crew up a Bankbuster and send that in, hoping that they double block, and then we get it back anyway with the Brilliant Restoration. Or we can just fire it off right now and say, you know what? Just deal with this board. All right, question is, what do we do now? Let's use the Eternal Wanderer. We will choose a creature for each side.
This here and now.
Yeah, I think for us it is the Reflection. You can keep, I guess, the Survivor. It's apparently good at surviving. It's only fitting. Let's activate the Wandering Emperor version. Put a counter on our Fable.
Strike fast and strike
We can
hard.
do a surprise crewing up of the Bankbuster if we need to. Opponent's going to touch the Spirit Realm. Is that going after Fable or... Yeah, okay. Going after Fable. Let's crew up a Bankbuster to at least block and save some of these Planeswalkers. And we can lean on them to start making tokens. Wrapping this up. Oh, Tactician. It's going to be a 3/4. Opponent tapped out except for a clue token. Passes it on back. We get another Brilliant Restoration. As our Fable flips over from the board here. All right, what can we do? Eternal Wanderer, let's... Well, hold on. Let's Faithful Mending. There's Teferi. Okay, that's pretty good. We'll pitch land and extra Mycosynth. Yeah, let's make a double strike Samurai. Then let's make a Vigilance Samurai. And then let's keep adding tokens to the board with Teferi. Give me a little Spirit token. All right. Now who's playing with creatures, opponent? Opponent will Denick back from the grave. And Gavany Dawnguard, okay. Haven't seen that one in a while, but it is not bad for sure. All right, an opponent scoops it up. I mean, that's a lot of Planeswalkers. Good game. All right, got some good early plays. We got a nice Urza. I think I've only mended him once since Brotherhood's, not Brotherhood's End, since Bro came out. Let's see. Doggo it is. Debating between Doggo and Bankbuster and Faithful Mending. We pick up a land. Opponent with a Wedding Announcement makes a token. We get a Sundown Pass. That's perfect for turn 3. Let's see if they want to trade away a token here. Fine with my stuff going to the graveyard since our eventual plan is Brilliant Restoration. As far as the eye can see, it's just restorations all the way down. We'll get a Fable going here. Goblin Shaman coming into play. We'll see if our opponent's on control or just what is going on over there. They go land 4 into Falco Spara itself. Wedding Announcement creates another token. All right. Well, chapter 2 of our Fable. I think let's get rid of Urza and a Doggo. Not that effective against Falco. And we pick up our portal to Phyrexia, but we can easily pitch that before we pick up a restoration. That will be nice to have against this board in particular. So do we depopulate now? I don't think that makes sense. And send a Shaman in. If they want to block it, that will get rid of the shield counter off of Falco, or they can trade in 2 tokens. They go the tokens route. All right, that's not the worst trade. And get a Bankbuster going. Just sit tight, do a little drawing here. What else are they playing with counters over there? Falco, nice for playing off the top of the deck. Kind of an efficiently costed creature for what it does, but a little difficult to play and be really effective in those colors sometimes. Really wanted to make him work. All right, they're going to destroy evil on our Fable. And then, oh, hey, all right. It's Shauna. Really like that card. All right, Shauna ticks, but no life was gained. No mana is available, at least. Wedding announcement flips over. We got to depopulate. I'm sorry. It's too much. Just got to buy some time until we can get this portal to Phyrexia down. You know, speaking of Shauna, I did face an opponent who had a great use for Shauna in their deck. They were playing with Wandering Emperor, the 4-cost version. And also basically had Shauna in there, and I think a couple of ways to like reanimate it, either with Invoke Justice or something else. Let's get our own Fable going here. We've got to ramp up. And so what they would do is Shauna would be kind of the way they would refill their hand, get some more spot removal, just draw some cards with it, and then the Wandering Emperor could pump her up. Other cards would bring her back from the grave. We'll have to reverse engineer that because it looked like fun. All right, well, a board with Galagreeters and Falco, but Falco is vulnerable now, so let's go looking for something. Something I know not what. We can discard the Portal and the Bankbuster since we're just a ways off. All right. The numbers, they lined up perfectly. Let's discard. Let's see. I think we can do it this way. Yes, since we do have enough for restoration. We might have had enough for that portal anyway, but this is just better value. All right, I think let's go get a treasure. They're tapped out anyway. Ain't nobody hasty in here. Wandering Emperor. Fantastic.
Let your blade do the talking.
Galagreeters will go off, give them a treasure. We get ours, and they block with the newly created Samurai token. Well, let's play Teferi here instead, and then create a little spirit. We can do a little surprise drawing and discarding. That'll help gain us some life too, as Falco's probably going to try and fly over and hit Teferi. We can at least have something left on the board to hopefully go after this Emperor.
May your blade strike true.
Sigarda's Summons. All right. Well, we've got a couple of dangerous flyers here, so we've got to block this token. It's all we can block, and we have to Faithful Mending. That's going to give us enough life to survive the 10 damage coming at us in the air. We get the Eternal Wanderer. Let's discard land. We don't have our Mycosynth right now, so that won't come back if we Brilliant Restoration. All right, we are at 1. All right, Spirit ticks up, Fable flips over. What do we got down here? Bankbuster, Portal, Companion, Fable, Urza. I mean, we got to go for it. It's now or never. All right. The dogs happen. The spirit gets bigger, and finally the portal wipes that board. That feels good. All right, we're at 1. Let's do a little draw with Teferi here, just for good measure. Might have the option of crewing up here if we want to. Let's see, this one, that's the one without Summoning Sickness. Yes, so let's do 3 power worth of stuff. And we will send Teferi token at the face, and Bankbuster at the Wandering Emperor. All right, we're set to start portaling things up next turn.
Wandering.
Combo has turned it all around. Actually kind of threatening lethal here next turn against this opponent. All right, another copy of Falco's coming down. What else do we got? All right, opponent having a good think, but looks like they're passing it over. If that's the case, we've got a Borrowed Time lined up. You know we got to take Shauna. That's right. Come over to come over to this side. All right, Teferi token ticks up. Fable, let's just get rid of this land. Great, more triggers. And let's see if they've got any response to this Borrowed Time. All right, we got there. Good game.